Hello, guys, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 7, Subgenres, with Emma Shanks. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inked Podcast. Today, we are joined by one of the lovely Shank twins, Miss Emma Shanks, here to help me talk about subgenres, what they are, how they work, and how many of them there are. But first, how are you doing today, Miss Emma?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me again. It's great to be back.
I know, I'm so excited to have you on. Now, I know that Emma and her twin sister Erica have been on the show together before, but since this is Emma's first solo episode, allow me to introduce her. Emma Shanks is a young author who finds as much enjoyment in writing fantasy stories as someone would when cuddling a puppy. She is a strong Christian and strives to sow Christian morals into her stories' designs. Emma loves sharing her tall tales alongside her twin sister Erica, as always. She is currently working on a fantasy novel deemed A Quest to Save Nowhere and a fairy tale series with Erica that they call Spellbound. Whether writing, reading, or having crazy conversations about ninjas, Emma is always up for an adventure with her Jesus and his crazy imagination he has given her. You can find out more about Emma on her active email list, The Faithful Pen, and in the published anthology Who You Say I Am. So, welcome back, Emma. Are you ready to jump into this episode?
I am. Let's get to it.
So, I have a little bit of a surprise question for you today as our first one, just because I realize that saying this term subgenre might not be something that everybody is familiar with because we've been talking about genres for so long, but now it is time to talk about subgenres. So, in your words, Miss Emma, how would you describe what a subgenre is?
Um, well, I would definitely say that there are main genres, of course, like historical fiction or more like there's just like fiction, and then there's nonfiction. Well, those are like a big they're like the trees of genres, and then the little branches are like subgenres, which are say we're like doing fiction. The subgenre of fiction would be like historical fiction, or again fantasy, or say contemporary or something like that. A lot of those branch out, and it's really just something that kind of takes a twist on a category. Since fiction is more of less like real life, it's more the imagination, I'd say. I would definitely say that subgenres or just like taking that root of non like existing characters or non-existing occurrences and taking that into history, taking that into magic, taking that into different like areas, and that is really what a subgenre is. It's like the branches of a main core genre. A lot like how same with like nonfiction or like I'd say that a lot of nonfiction things would just be like, historical, like accurate historical books that's came from real life. Like that is nonfiction. That was real life. And that's a sub genre of nonfiction. So yeah, they're like roots or like branches of a big like major genre. They branch out and delve deeper into the aspects of that genre. If that makes sense.
That makes great sense. I love the analogy of like the tree with the branches because that is very true. Your subgenres are like those little, like smaller categories of a specific genre. So, like, if you're talking historical fiction could be an example of a bigger genre because, as someone who writes in historical fiction, there are lots of different kinds of it.
Yeah.
Um, so like historical fiction can have a subgenre of romance. Like that can be your subgenre. You can have like your subgenre with fantasy. Another example with fantasy is you can have um, you can have high, low fantasy. Like those are two different things, and then you can have like
Yeah.
all of these different categories. So basically, it's
Yeah.
those smaller categories of this bigger category,
Oh yeah, it's like
narrowing
it
it
can
down.
be. Yeah, I mean, like nonfiction. It's got all those branches of like historical and all that, and then those things have branches. Like those things have branches. Like it's like all of these subgenres within subgenres. Like everything has like some could have something underneath it that like branches out into that same kind of category, but is different.
Yeah. Well, our next question is how many subgenres, which this is something that obviously as we're talking about this is so hard to answer because you have absolutely no like good idea because there's just so many. But it's if you
Yeah.
would take a guess, how many subgenres do you think there are?
Well, definitely considering how many genres there are out there, I believe there are probably like there's got to be over 100. I mean, like there's no doubt, probably like over 100. Like yeah, I mean maybe possibly like 1,000 or so. I really don't know. That's like a wild guess, but honestly, I know that fantasy genre alone there's like over 50 or so. I know that there's like there is a lot of genres in fantasy subgenres. So yeah, probably like I mean definitely in the hundreds. I've got to say.
Okay, so I actually took the liberty of researching this
Oh,
purely
nice.
to actually have an answer to this question or like a rough answer. So, right now, there are approximately 41 primary genres that are
Yeah.
commonly recognized, and then there are 1,200 recognized subgenres.
Oh
So,
wow! Hey, I did say a
there
thousand,
is
so like,
it is a lot of subgenres, and there are different
oh my gosh,
categories of those subgenres,
that makes sense
and
though. There's a
it's
lot, yeah.
funny because there's like one um there's a couple there's like a couple different ways that they can identify it, but the assumption is since there is like 1,200 recognized subgenres, then there could be like so many more categories and so many more subgenres. So like that number could be anywhere. But like that's a rough estimate as of right now.
That's crazy. I mean, honestly, that doesn't surprise me because, like, just the wide range of like what someone can read and like and watch and like all of these things that you can create, like it's pretty wide range
Yeah,
of genres out there.
so
So yeah,
many.
honestly, that's not surprising. That's crazy though.
Yeah, for sure. When I first looked that up, I was like, "Oh, wait, that's actually like a smaller number than I thought." But that is the assumed number right now, so there could be so many more, and there probably is so many more.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm sure like someone like has made up stuff
right.
too. Like
Um,
yeah, like I'm sure there's
so
others.
going into our next question, which is you and I have talked about this a little bit, but it is the fact that you write high fantasy as a subgenre. So why did you choose to write high fantasy as your subgenre more than any other subgenre?
Well, definitely to put it simply, I really love it. I've grown up reading, listening to audiobooks and watching shows and all of this stuff that was more in high fantasy. And of course, I don't like the garbagey stuff. Of course, I try to keep it clean because, I mean, I am a strong believer of Jesus and trying to like fill our minds with good purity. But there is a lot of good purity in high fantasy, and I think sometimes people, will assume high fantasy is bad, but honestly, I believe high fantasy is just anything that is like without limits. The like worlds and magic and like it's just like it can be like so beautiful and um, imaginative. And I honestly, I chose high fantasy because I really loved the ability to not have any limits. And honestly, as a writer and writing high fantasy, it's just really fun to be able to experiment, and it can get a little overwhelming, especially with like magic systems. But all in all, it's just really fun to explore and experiment. And at the heart of high fantasy, it's just like wonder. It's like say like exploring your own world. Like you get to write something and kind of explore the world while you write it, and even like, pardon me, even if like you're watching a movie or something that's high fantasy, you get to experience something like truly beautiful, and it's just I just love it. I have such a passion for it. It's just getting to take your own like self out of the world you live in and get to experience something completely different and completely new, and like it's beautiful, and like when it's done right, when it's done purely, it is done beautifully, and it's wonderful. And I think I just chose it because I was always drawn towards it, and it's always been something I've loved. Just that ability to imagine.
Yeah, that's really cool. I can definitely tell how you and your sister are like so passionate about writing fantasy, and I just think that's so cool. But we'll end the episode with this because we are almost out of time. But I will end by saying that just like we've been talking this entire season about finding your genre, know that once you find your genre, your subgenre will most likely follow. Like you will most
Oh
definitely
yeah,
find the subgenre that you love the most shortly after you find your genre.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, honestly, when I started writing fantasy, high fantasy just kind of slipped in there. Like I just slipped right into like the glove or whatever of like fantasy. That was just the the genre, the subgenre that I just fell into, that I fell in love with. So yes, definitely, you'll find your glove, the right glove to wear that you love.
Yes, very true. Well, that is all of the time we have for today. So, thank you, Miss Emma, for coming on. It was very exciting to get to talk to you again.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
And as always, thank you to our listeners for being here as well. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.